is Happy Nessa 1111 and Family. And Life's channel is Life's Magical Journey. We're going to also shout out another channel that we have. It's called, tell me your meditation channel again.
Magical Meditation and Mindfulness.
Yes. So I love her meditation. So she's got that separate channel that she just started. And I've also got my Nurse Nessa channel. And it's not just for people interested in healthcare and nursing. It's actually going to talk a lot about following your passion, your calling. Some of these words kind of overlap. Sometimes we feel like they're different. So it's going to be about career stuff in general. So today we're going to be talking about creating a lifestyle around happiness and other random things, because I'm going to go with the flow. Life, I want to see, yeah, I want to see if anything comes to mind when you think about lifestyle as it relates to happiness. If anything doesn't, then I can just jump in. But if anything's coming to mind for you, I'm going to give it to you first.
Not at the moment.
Okay. All right. So when I thought about this topic, I specifically am bringing this up because I feel like, traditionally speaking, there are some obvious things that people think about when they think about happiness. You think about your career. Do I have the job, the career that I want? Do I have the money? Do I have the resources, the car? Do I have the relationship that I want? Am I a mom, or a father? Yeah. You said, what was that?
Time freedom.
Yeah, I feel like that is lower though, but I feel like that should be higher because it correlates with a lot of people's happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So the feeling of feeling free or having some flexibility with your time, that's a bit of what I'm thinking about with lifestyle. It's like all of the above, whereas more traditionally, we're not really thinking about our time. And time is something that I don't want to get too philosophical about because it's something we don't get back per se, but I also talk about how it's man-made and it's like an illusion. So, but I bring this up because I find that a lot of spiritual people or a lot of people who are successful or happy or just have some good things going for them, a lot of them still feel pressured or stressed by time.
Mm-hmm.
And as it relates to lifestyle, I feel that the more freedom and control that I've had around my time, it has really boosted my happiness in so many ways. And that's kind of where I'm coming from. I could keep going. Is anything coming to mind for you, Life?
Yeah, honestly, right now, with regard to me starting work, that has been the biggest resistance because of course I'm going to be working for Aetna. I'm going to be working where in a position where I'm helping people, and I love that idea. Okay, so and I've always been that way. I've always loved the idea of helping people, but I have been so resistant towards going back to work, and that's because I don't want to give up my time freedom. I don't want to give up the fact that I can go swimming with Violet at any given moment. I can run to the store if I want to. I can cook dinner whenever I want. I'm not pressured by having to look at the clock at all, and I haven't been for over a year now. And so I have felt some resistance around that, and that is really the only thing that has been really the big resistance to going back to work. And so that's why that came straight to mind when you start talking about it, because I'm like you, I definitely feel that time is a man-made construct that we need to not acknowledge as much, However, we are living in this human experience, and we kind of have to find that balance between knowing and living in such a way that time is just a man-made construct, but abiding by it at the same time, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I know. That's why. Yeah. So when I start talking about time, I said philosophical because when you're getting philosophical with things don't always make sense because that's what philosophy is. You're like in the unknown. So, but yeah, thank you for sharing that because I've been on this path for years now where I've had some phases where I've worked full time, traditional full time, away from home. I've worked full time from home. I've worked long-term jobs. I've worked on intentionally seasonal jobs, so I've experimented with it all. And so for me not to feel like I'm giving up my time or to not to feel resistant, I try my best to always have my time spent on things that I'm meant to, if that makes any sense. Or like, so even if I'm spending a lot of time on something for a season, as long as I know this is where I'm meant to be, even if I might not love every aspect of it, then I feel a lot better. So I feel like a lot of us, we got to get more in tune with what are we really meant to spend our time on.
Yeah.
And that will bring you in. And that can sometimes be challenging because a lot of us, we're constantly trying to figure out, okay, am I living my life that's really going to bring my life, me happiness? Am I making decisions and using my time on things that are really bringing me happiness? Or am I trying to live my mom or my dad's version of happiness? Am I trying to live out, what people spoke over my life? Am I, there's so many different things that can happen as far as why we believe something is going to make us happy or why we should be spending our time on something. And sometimes people think, well, I've been on this path, like I've been on this path of education or a career track or whatever you're doing for years. And some people don't even want to let go of what they've been. I don't know if this makes sense. Some people are so committed to staying on that path because they've already devoted so much time to it that they're not willing to switch over. I'll give an example. With me, I already have a master's degree and I already have a background in mental health and education. And I've got to start back from ground zero. I'm now jumping over into medical. And medical doesn't care about my master's degree. I have to start from the bottom. I have to be a nursing assistant. I have to, go back to school and get a whole nother degree. And some people would say, well, Vanessa, doesn't that like suck? Like, no, it doesn't.
Why would you waste your time?
Yeah,
right.
This only because I know this is what I'm supposed to do. And so I feel like we're kind of all over the place, but that's why I put random topics in the title.
The difference. That's the difference between living life on purpose and living life because of society said so, or because, I spent all this time doing this when that's not my purpose. That's when you're living boldly. I love that you're doing that. That's so commendable. Thanks for sharing it again, because there's so many people stuck in a rut right now because of that same very situation. I just saw, I don't know if you follow Gary Vaynerchuk, but I just saw a quick video he did where he was talking about that same exact thing. Don't keep a job or keep a situation because it's convenient or because it's what you're used to or because, your mom or your dad or your uncle said that's what you need to be doing. That's not living life on purpose. And that's ultimately not the way to find your happy. It's just not. So that is so commendable. I appreciate you for sharing that, because that just solidifies what the message that I got earlier when he said that he doesn't say that he's any type of spiritual or anything, but his love for humanity is so clear and so real. And so I appreciate you saying that.
I'm just bringing it up because, again, I feel like it's the one thing, the time and the lifestyle thing is something that people are starting to talk about it more on YouTube. Because people talk about creating that dream career, that dream relationship, but we got to put it all together. That dream lifestyle, what does it look like? And another thing that's crazy, whatever you want to call it, sometimes not as fun, is on this human experience, a lot of us have to experience what we do not want or what we don't like to actually clarify what we do want. So some people will say, I know I would love working from home, or I know I would love, let's say, doing X, Y, and Z, whatever it is. You just have this vision in your mind and you feel like you're going to love it. And then when you try it out, you don't. And then you get upset. You're like, well, that was a waste. It's not a waste. You clarified what you don't want in your lifestyle. So I do like working from home under certain conditions. I know that now. I've got a big family, so I don't like working from home if I don't have the right help at home or the right situation to where I've had the kids interrupting me all the time. That's very actually stressful. I was very surprised at how stressed I got working from home as a credit counselor. It was a job where a lot of people were calling in. A lot of them with actually major life challenges. I mean, major health stuff, major stuff that had them in a financial situation. So I was kind of counseling them on their money, but also counseling them with just, mental stuff. And I had the kids at the time. I didn't have help with my two youngest and my husband was working. we couldn't afford daycare. And it was so stressful. I got so stressed and anxious. It just bogged my mind. I was like, this is not a stressful job. It's not a stressful situation, but my mind perceived it that way. So we got to clarify what we want, what we don't want. I do like working from home, but under these circumstances, you can clarify, let's say, my thing is I'm okay with going through phases where I have a lot of demands. Let's say, for example, I'll be in RN school full-time next fall. That's going to be pretty demanding, okay? And that's okay with me, but I have clarified that I'm not willing to be stretched thin or to feel like I'm really constantly running for a long period, for a long time. So for my happiness and for my lifestyle, I have been playing around for years with being what society calls busy for smaller phases, and then being able to have the luxury to just breathe, to relax, to travel, to do more fun things, going in and out of that. And so actually when I finish nursing, I'm more than likely going to still do what is called per diem or PRN nursing or travel nursing, where I basically either work a couple days locally per week and that's it, or I travel and do a 1 or 2 month assignment somewhere and then I take off a month or two. So that is a lifestyle that I'm bringing, that's a lifestyle that I'm intentionally creating, because I know with my family and friends that time is so important to me. And it's fine for me to be busy or to just have a lot of demands on my plate for a season, but it's not something I'm going to choose consistently.
Makes sense. And you wouldn't know that without those previous experiences of those other situations. I've been in the same way. Like, if you know me for any amount of time, you know that I am always doing something. I'm known for always reaching for different ways to open up different streams of income and things like this, and learning new things. And I'm a crafter. Like, I make all kinds of things, t-shirts and stuff like that. And so I know a little bit about a lot of different topics or a lot of different things. And it sounds like you're the same way with just not being afraid to take a chance, take a chance and step into something new. You just never know what you're going to learn out of it, what you're going to be able to enjoy and not enjoy about it, and then take the parts that you love and you can move on to something else. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, you see the comments? Leanne's here. Yeah. Hey, Leanne. Anyone else who was here? I can't see. I'm new to Restream.
Thank you, Leanne.
To anyone who's here, thank y'all so much for checking us out. Yeah, you saw, she said, I'm going to cap up so life can see. Okay, awesome. Sweetness. Thank you. So,
at least until next week, because, girl, I'm getting at least one eye to be able to see.
That's right. So if y'all are wondering what we're talking about, we were just on Life's channel. We were live on Life's channel where she was talking about how she manifested eye surgery because she's been dealing with major health challenges in her eyes, but that hasn't stopped her from being positive. It hasn't stopped her from manifesting
absolutely
beautiful things, and also in specific time. That's what we just got off our channel talking about, how we can manifest. You can manifest whatever you want if you let go of logic, get out of logic. Logic can work to your advantage. Use it when it does. But when logic makes you feel like something can't happen, let it go. And that's exactly what she did. And she's got her eye surgery scheduled. She's going to start a new job soon. So she just manifested that yesterday. We talked about it on her channel. Please hop on over when you get a moment to her channel if you didn't already watch that.
And thank you in advance.
I had some other stuff random things, as the title says, that are coming to mind. Unless you have something, Wife.
You know what? I wanted to talk about momentum.
Beautiful. Awesome.
Yes, because you had some things that you were talking about when we were just talking on the phone, and I wrote that down because I felt that is such a powerful. It's such a powerful thing to know about how momentum works and how it doesn't work. Because a lot of times we get so wrapped up in trying to make things go our way, we don't realize that we have to kind of start and stop momentum. So I want you to go into what you were talking about that day.
Yeah. So I like to try to give credit where these things come up. Sometimes things feel original and like maybe I was just meditating or reflecting and God spoke to me. Other times I know I got it from somewhere specific. So this I've only heard about primarily from Abraham Hicks. So for anyone on a spiritual
Me
journey
too.
who's
Yep.
open-minded, Abraham Hicks is an individual who channels a collective conscience. So she channels a message for people. And what she was talking about is basically building momentum. I'm going to try to get this analogy. I might ruin it. She was saying how,
I got you though. I know.
okay.
So
She was saying how if you get a big ball rolling from the bottom of the hill, is that what she says? And it gets rolling, it's not going to roll that far. But if you put it at the top of the hill and it gets rolling, it's got so much momentum, nothing can stop it, if that makes any sense. So what she's saying is with happiness or stress or sadness or depression, whatever emotion or challenge that you're, or whatever emotion or thing that you're dealing with in life, we can build momentum. We're building momentum all the time, whether we try to or not. So basically, it's powerful when we're talking about happiness and manifesting, because when you intentionally learn to build momentum around your happiness, then you're going to be happier longer and have less, what do you want to call it? You're going to have less of a dip when something happens. So if you get that momentum going, I'm looking at the comment. I just took out Acts and it is given. I got to read it now. Isn't that her book? Is that Abraham's book?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Awesome.
Yes.
So with momentum, it's basically like this. So once you're happy, like, life just manifested, her eye surgery, the job, all these beautiful things are happening. She could celebrate a little bit. She could focus a little bit on it and just get back to life. I say your name so much. I mean, like life. So, she could do that and that's fine. But when you really milk something and you really like, oh, I'm so grateful, I'm so excited, this is so awesome, you're building such a big ball of momentum that the other life challenges that are thrown your way are like insignificant, and you basically can manifest more, and you're manifesting with ease because you've got that big ball of momentum. On the flip side, if you've got a big ball of momentum towards depression or sadness or anxiety, not to judge anyone, I don't talk about these things in a judgmental tone, because these are challenges that we experience on the human journey. But basically, one thing that has worked for me is if I stop that ball, if I stop it in the first minute, the first hour, the first day, the first couple of days, wow, like I can bounce back. But if I let that ball roll and I'm complaining and I'm just annoyed by everything for a whole day, then another day, then a whole week, bro, like that's going to take a while to hop off of that train. So that's kind of the big picture about momentum.
Absolutely. Yep. And I think that's what helps me to stay at least as high on my vibe as I was able to when I was faced with that challenge, where I thought, oh, this might not happen, with regard to me manifesting the surgery right on time, for me to have that week of recovery before I start work. That is what enables me, the fact that I am keeping my heart more positive, keeping my dominant vibration on more of that happy note, more of that positive outlook, more of that expecting great things. That's why I talk so much about changing what you expect out of your life. Like I expect for things to work out for me. And so that, since I've practiced that so much, that's why I was able to face that challenge. Yes, I cried, but I was able to face that challenge head on and still manifest a great outcome. And so that when she talks about momentum, it just makes sense. She uses the car rolling down the hill. Like if you put it in neutral and you bump that car, but you get right out in front of it, it's not going to hurt you. It'll be fine. Yeah. But if you push it and let it roll downhill and then try to stop it, you're done. And you might get ran over. Yeah. And one thing I want to bring up on that is to forgive yourself. Give yourself a pass. So let's say it takes you a day or two or three, to start to see, especially if you're brand new at this. Like, let's say this is your first time seeing this type of video and it's your first time hearing about momentum, and you've been trying to change your mindset. You've been trying to get away from that negativity or that repeating, that ego mind and that ego voice that says, you're not good enough. You're not strong enough. You don't deserve that. The same thing's going to happen. This is going to fail. Whatever it's saying to you, we all have that voice that talks to us, right? Mm-hmm. And usually for a lot of us, that voice is negative. It's focusing on what might go wrong. And so if you're just now getting to where you're aware of that and the fact that you can change it, you might not change it right away. And so that's for you to continuously make that conscious effort, to make that conscious decision to choose a better thought. Just choose a better thought. It's just like meditation. Once you get distracted, oh, what was that thing I was listening for? Or I was focusing on my breath, or I was listening to the fan, whatever it was. Some people look at a flame, well, whatever it is, whatever you're meditating on, you get distracted. That's the same way with changing your subconscious mind. When you get distracted and you start thinking negatively again, be aware. Put that thought on blast, so to speak. Like, oh, you're thinking negative again. That's okay. But let's refocus. Let's go ahead and think of something that doesn't make us feel bad on the inside, okay? And so it's just, you might have to continuously bring yourself back around several times before you start to think happy thoughts.
And that's okay. We're trying to normalize all of this. Like, that is okay. Like, people think just because I'm out here smiling right now that maybe I'm always smiling. Like, people who know me have been around me, they're like, Vanessa, you're so optimistic. Yeah, but ask my husband, ask my kids in the middle of the night when I ain't been sleeping. I'm human, right? So, and it's okay. Yeah. Like, we're allowed to be human. You're allowed to, we talked about on this channel, embrace all of your emotions, and one of the things I want to get to, since again, in the title, disclaimer, random, we're going to be jumping around, but you reminded me as you were talking about something that was so empowering and helpful to me, to realize some of your thoughts are not even yours. If you especially are more connected as an empath or as someone who's intuitive, you might not even realize you're intuitive, y'all. There's some things I didn't know about myself until later. If you are connected to people, if you are intuitive, you're empathic, who cares if you don't know what those definitions are? But let me just clarify. Doesn't matter what the definition is. What I'm saying is all human beings have the ability to kind of know things about other people, even if they're not trying to. And a lot of the times, a lot of us are hearing and sensing thoughts that aren't our own. That helped me so much, because I've had thoughts that I'm like, why in the world? Like, that's a weird thought. Why did I have that thought? And then I think it actually was Eckhart Tolle. I think it was him. That he was like, listen, all of those thoughts aren't even yours. And it makes sense. I'm someone who identifies as being very intuitive. I use the word psychic, but I know people are afraid of that word, trying to normalize intuition and normalize conversation around that too. Yeah, empathic. So yeah, your thoughts, some of these negative thoughts, don't even claim them, or, don't even claim them. Some of them are not even yours. And that is very helpful.
Yeah, a lot of mine came from the things that I was consuming. Like I've mentioned on my channel before that I used to watch a lot of things that were very unhealthy. Murder mysteries, First 48, which is real life murders and solving cases, NCIS and things like that, where I'm always hearing about rape, murder, drug abuse, this and that. And I'm wondering why I'm driving down the road and I'm thinking I might get into an accident. Yeah. That is because I was training my subconscious mind to send me those thoughts. And I didn't even realize it. I didn't realize the damage I was doing to my own self by consuming so much of that. And I'm not at all saying, hey, don't watch whatever you love watching. That is your choice. I'm just saying that for me, that was all I would watch. And so for me, because I didn't really watch YouTube or any of the things that I do now, my meditations and things like that. I was not into that just 2 years ago. And so I was watching First 48 or anything like that. When I did watch Netflix, that's what I was watching. And so for me, it had a lot to do with how I was training my own subconscious mind to send me crap.
Yeah, well, I will jump in, since you said, to each his own with this. This is interesting. So to me, it depends on the individual. Someone can watch First 48 nonstop and be happier or less stressed and less anxious than other people. It's your personality. For example, I would always tell my husband, stop watching that. He likes watching investigative stuff, murder stuff. And I told him, don't be coming in the room, because I fall asleep before him. I said, don't be coming in there playing that in the background when I'm going to sleep. Like, I'm a dream about it, because I have vivid dreams sometimes.
Yeah.
And so he like, you know what? One day he was like, you know what? That don't make no sense to me. He was like, you put on your Grey's Anatomy, you put on a medical show, and them people dying left and right. He was like, what's the difference? I was like, that's different. Like, I don't know. I was like, it's just different to me. So what I want to say is, one, my husband has a filter. So not everyone can watch the first 48, the news or different things and filter it out and still not attracted. So I like to tell people, because I love, when I have time, I love watching TV and different things. I'm not a big reader. I like YouTube videos. I like TV. And I do believe that you can watch something that's challenging and still have a very positive experience, but it takes skill and it takes intention. And sometimes it just takes a certain personality type. So, so I do watch a lot of medicals. It does, being aware.
So a lot of times people can watch that stuff and they can watch that and get their own messages out of it. And it's not dangerous, or it's not, doing that. But I wasn't aware at that time. So
exactly.
I think you look at things, the more you change the way you look at things, the more things you look at change. And so there's something to that as well.
Well, I want to say what Leanne said. Leanne said, I am a professional haunter, so I just think of serial killers and horror and such as something I could use at work. I'm lucky that way. So again, certain personality types can watch certain things. Think about this too. They can watch certain things, have a better filter, and use it in their work. That's like me. Like, I was attracted to all this medical shows over the years, even though it's challenging to watch people are sick and dying and not be as negative, because I felt like this is a field that I'll eventually work, and this is a field where I will make a difference. Whereas if I watch the murder shows, it actually triggers me more. And so I don't watch them as much. But someone else who maybe does work in the field, an investigative field, or who has a gift or whatever, like, I don't feel that just watching something, challenging or negative means that you're going to attract it in your life. I think it depends on your personality, the filter that you put in, maybe, if you're ever going to use it professionally.
Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah. So yeah. Is there any other random things coming to mind? I have like a whole list, but with time too, with time, I'm kind of flexible, but I'll probably wrap it up in like 10 minutes. If you have 10 minutes. Okay.
I have 10 minutes. I have minutes.
Is anything popping up for you? I have other things. Hold on. We got another comment. Thank you, Leanne, for being so engaging. She said, on that note, I rarely watch the news or bits of the news. The news is my horror. Got it. I am typically the same way. I go through little phases where I try to watch more of the news, and then in the past it would kind of trigger me, so I try to just do it in very little. If I do watch it, only a little bit of it. I try to watch videos that aren't as negative, that are more educational if it is the news. And I try to do my filter and my prayers. And yeah. How are you with the news? Do you watch the news?
I don't. I haven't, though, for a long time. Like, I stopped watching TV in general probably 20, 25 years ago. But around the time reality TV started to be popular, I just dropped TV altogether. And so when I did start watching TV again, it was just Netflix. And so you don't have news and all that. So the way I get any news is through friends and family, or if I'm on Facebook or something like that. Yeah, then I might get news about something, but for the most part, I don't watch news. I don't, nowadays, if you are on YouTube or any type of social media, they're putting the news that they wanted to put into or they do put in the news channels, they're putting it and they're sending it to your phone anyway. And so, for me, I just scroll past it, or I don't give it my energy for the most part. So that's where I'm at. I don't enjoy it very much at all. And I think there's so much agenda behind it. I just don't.
There's some agenda, but life is agenda. Like anything that, we have an agenda on here. We're trying to get people to be happier, more spiritual. So I don't think the news in itself is like the worst thing. I just think that it's too heavily focused on negative things, and the energy behind news is too fear-based. But I also think it's educational. We learn some things. and that can go the same with social media or different things. There's people are sometimes so negative about, or they'll say social media is so negative, but it's like look at the blessing of social media when it's used right. People just need to be taught how to use information
Mm-hmm.
correctly in order to support their happiness and their mental health. One thing that came to mind when you're talking about the news is somebody I know in my family that has struggled with mental health in a very serious way used to have a news alerts popping up on her phone about people getting robbed in her area or just different things. And I was like, listen, you cannot have those alerts popping up on your phone. Those are triggers. That's just constant. If she was happy and didn't let those alerts bother her, then I'd say, hey, live your life. But I was aware that
Yeah.
those news alerts were causing fear in her and contributing to her mental health challenges. And it took her a while to get them off. So anyways, if anyone has those news alerts and you feel a little bit anxious with life, get them off
And it's not for
your
you.
phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not for you at this time, at least. And that's all about your own awareness. That's all about knowing, how things are making you feel. That's why I talk about always checking in with yourself. Like, this conversation is making me feel good. It's making me feel like I'm learning something. I'm enjoying having this conversation. And so that makes me feel a good emotion. If things are making you feel a negative or a sour emotion in your body, then it's not for you. And it's probably not for you, at least at this time. As long as you keep checking in with you, then you will always be on the path. That's how I feel. Like
That's true. I feel like you and I haven't had too much not on camera, like off of camera we have. I don't know if you know this about me, Life, but I'm the someone who is plays devil advocate. I always see both sides. Have we talked about this before? I don't think we have.
But okay, so
But have we talked about it? Did you say no? I didn't hear.
I think we have.
Okay, I bring this
We
up.
brought it up before.
Yeah, I bring this up because some people are triggered by it when I do this, and some people love it. So what you just mentioned is if you're having a negative emotion, it's true. If you have a negative emotion, listen to it. What is it telling you? But I feel that a lot of people run away from blessings, a relationship that they're supposed to be in, a career that they're supposed to be in because of a negative emotion. But it's because of fear, it's because of resistance, it's because of sabotage. So I kind of sometimes can pull out that one example that maybe does need to be pulled out or maybe doesn't. But I think people should be a little cautious with, oh, well, I don't feel good on day one or the first week of this new job or in this relation or whatever. And it's like, but what if you're the one sabotaging something that's good for you? What if you're the one, so I try to pray about my feelings and what they're trying and my emotions and what are they teaching me. Is it that this isn't for me, or is it that I'm resisting something that's good for me? I try to be a little analytical to make sure the ego's not being a little trickster.
Right. Yes, that happens. Yeah,
Situation.
I'm definitely not saying, so just let me be clear, because on YouTube, I guess you just have to have all these disclaimers about every little thing you say. But I am not at all saying that if it feels negative, just run away from it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying go within, meditate, and you will know better what your feeling is, what that feeling is telling you, because each of us is going to be different. We all have our own different feelings and different emotions and different things and a different path that we should take. And so I'm not at all suggesting that you run, but I'm asking everybody to go within, meditate, get closer to yourself, learn your own intuition, and then you'll be better able to use that intuition for your good. Because yeah, definitely what you're saying is so true. A lot of people, we are ego based, at least to start out with, and that ego can have you feeling like, oh, you making a good decision when actually is, it's the opposite. So there's such a balance there. There's such a balance there.
It is. Yeah. There's a balance to life. There is a definite balance to life. I feel like on earth, that's what it is. It's like we talked about the opposites here, the polarization, and to be happy again, we think that we only focus on the good, the happy, whereas I've learned that when you embrace it all and you don't resist the other emotions and some of the challenges, that's true happiness. Something else is coming to mind. It's actually connected to something you just said. You talk about intuition, embracing your intuition. Is there anything that is top of mind for you? If not, I have something.
Go ahead.
So I was saying that I need to hold myself more accountable to talk about spiritual stuff more. I've been, talking about psychic abilities, intuition, spiritual things, connection to the spirit realm more and more. And it has been liberating. And it obviously wasn't always liberating because of tradition, because of what certain religions say about people who are psychic or intuitive, because of history and what happened to very intuitive people in the past. So I've got to still, I don't have as much resistance because I feel like I'm out there. I'm on all social media platforms talking about, my gifts, and I'm encouraging people to embrace their intuition and their gifts, but I got to do it more. So on that note, last night was interesting. One of the ways I hear from God, I hear from angels, I hear from my family who's transitioned to heaven, I hear songs. And so last night I woke up and it was just playing in my head so clearly, a song that I'd never in my life went to and played on purpose. I would hear it on the radio, or I would hear it here and there, but it's Kelly Clarkson's Breakaway. And I was like, why am I hearing this song? I haven't meditated on that yet, so I don't know why. It gave me a little bit of fear, y'all, because I'm so intuitive that sometimes I know when people are sick before they're sick. Sometimes I know when someone's going to pass before they pass. And so in the past, I used to be a little afraid of my intuition and used to kind of focus too much on the negative. Well, whatever. So honestly, the last time I had a song on repeat, it was DMX. I had DMX songs, a song that I didn't listen to that often, on repeat in my head for a week. And I'm like, why am I waking up with this song? Since I wasn't watching the news, as we talk about the news, and I wasn't on social media, I had no clue he was sick. The next week is when he passed. So with that being said, I'm hearing Kelly Clarkson's song in my head. I'm like, please tell me she's okay. So I Google it. From what I know, she's fine. That's just the past mind focusing too much on the past. I'm not saying she's sick or anything bad's going to happen to her. It's just the most recent thing that happened to me with the song playing on repeat was DMX passing. So anyways, I bring this up because your intuition talks to you in different ways. It could be a song in your head that seems random. It could be feelings, just a feeling. It could be hearing specific things. Some people are clairaudient. They can hear things. Some people are clairvoyant. You can kind of, like, when you meditate or pray or whatever, or you just, even if you're just going about your day-to-day life, some people just see things. You just kind of see an image in your head. Some people call it the third eye. So pay attention to those things. They're not always so obvious. And the last thing I'll say about that song is I think it's just a message. I hope to do a video. I'm going to stop promising. I hope to do a video where I clarify why I was hearing that song on repeat. I believe it's a message for me at this stage in life. It's a very positive song. So I think it's me. It says, make a wish, do something, and break away. It's just basically saying, I'll learn how to fly. I won't stop until I reach the sky. It's a very positive song, So I wanted to bring that up. And I just want to, again, normalize intuition, normalize the spiritual gifts that we have, normalize our connection to the spirit realm. Not feeling like you're a bad person or evil or whatever, certain religions say. If you have an experience with a Passover loved one or have a mystical experience or a supernatural experience, these things are happening way more frequently because people are more open to it. And it takes us being honest and vulnerable about our experiences for it to be normalized. So yeah, I'll have to do some reflection on that song. Meditation, actually. I'll have to meditate on that song. So do you want to talk about anything that maybe you had did you have any resistance to anything considered spiritual as you transitioned into a more spiritual life? Like, were you kind of resistant or afraid? And maybe you weren't. Maybe you were just ready to jump in and just be like, this is who I am. This is the journey I'm on.
The only thing I can think of off the bat is meditation. I was, and it's crazy because I'm so into meditation now, and I'm such a heavy believer in the power of meditation and people going within and just, going, we're so used to looking outside of ourselves for answers. And I really believe that we have all the answers. Our inner peace, or that God energy has the answers that we need. And so if we fine tune ourselves to tune into that and connect to that energy, I think that we'll find, we'll obviously find whatever it is we're looking for or need. But meditation was a big thing that I was like, that's probably not for me. That's the only thing so far that I think I was really, really resistant to. But the journey's not over. So
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
great. Yeah, we all can have some resistance. I was just afraid. I used to identify, or I didn't really identify, but I'm now aware that I used to be a people pleaser. So being such a people pleaser meant that I was afraid to feel like I let people down by not believing what they believed. So,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people in my family or just people in general can be religious. And some of them are religious and open-minded. And I have a great friend, a best friend who's like that. That's awesome. I love that we have different beliefs and we can still just embrace each other in every way possible. But yeah, I was afraid of rejection, afraid of not being able to please people because I believe something different. But look, it's beautiful because technology is helping us connect and helping us share our journeys. And so many of us are having these experiences of repeating numbers, connection to the spirit realm, connection to angels, um, you know, feeling a call to meditation or yoga or whatever it is. And lastly, I'll say, and then if you have anything else, let me know. If not, I'm cool with wrapping it up. But
Okay.
spirituality to me is not the stereotypical obvious spiritual things. It's not just yoga and prayer and meditation. It's just embracing life. Art is spirituality to me. Someone channeling, God or whatever you want to call God through artwork, through music, even if the music might be as positive. I mean, I still feel that some people are having a spiritual experience even when it's not obvious, using their gifts. I feel like using your gifts, being bold enough to use your gifts is a very spiritual practice. And I want people to be more open-minded about what spirituality looks like. It's not just prayer, meditation, yoga, manifesting, affirmations.
Mhm.
It's what you make it.
Absolutely. I
Anything else
agree.
coming to mind for you? That was 42 minutes. That felt like 4 minutes. Wow.
That
That
was
was weird.
awesome.
That was 42 minutes.
I'm not surprised.
I know, right? Because we were on your channel for almost the
The
same amount of
first
time, too.
time, but remember the first time we talked on the phone? We were literally on the phone for over 3 hours.
Yeah. Yep.
So I
Yep.
am not surprised by that at all. Leanne said something.
Leanne has a great question. Do either of you have schedules for streaming or when you are most likely on?
Ooh, not at the moment.
Not quite yet, but
And to be honest with you, like I mentioned in my live earlier, I haven't been, I love doing live. I really do. I love it so much. But I haven't been that comfortable with the live because I can't see the chat and I'm always having to lean over and look closely at the screen and stuff like that. So I've been really kind of resistant to doing live. Now that I'm going to be more structured with my time a little bit with regard to work, and my daughter is in online school as well and things like that, I do want to schedule a time where I will be live and I will be doing more live streams, but then I'll also want to just hop on when I hop on. So I think so with the regard to that, yeah, I probably will do some scheduling, but at the same time I want to be open to hopping on as well. So
yes, similar to me. I think I'm going to try to stick with Tuesdays and Wednesday afternoons for my lives or recorded videos. I'm going to try to get maybe I'm gonna try. I don't want to make promises quite yet. With all the kids I
yeah.
got, I don't tell them something for sure. I'll be like, hey, this is a maybe. So maybe, but that's been my routine as far as when Life and I are able to get together, typically Tuesdays or Wednesdays. But then my schedule's about to change. So if
Mine
it
too.
does get concrete, then I will communicate that. And for anyone also who's been connecting with me on YouTube, I haven't replied to comments in probably a week. So I've got some catching up to do. But anyone who's connected with me, I'm going to reply. I'm going to check you out and all of that in due time. I've been working at the hospital. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm doing a transition into medical nursing. I've been working at the hospital. And so I'm trying to rebalance my time. Oh, she said Tuesdays is the worst day. Everyone streams. Really? That's kind of good to
I
know that it's a lot
kind
of
of noticed
competition on
too.
Tuesdays.
Yeah,
Really?
Tuesdays for the people that I've watched, some of the people
Well, it
are
could
on
be because there's research that shows certain days are better as far as not when your competition is streaming. There's some research that talks about when are people in general going to consume YouTube, Facebook, Instagram? When are they more present? So
Mm.
I don't know if that's what people are doing Tuesdays. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But I know I heard Sundays. If you post on Sundays, less people are on YouTube on Sundays. Um, That's a little logic for you, though. You can always defy logic if you want to. So
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, but at the same time, it's like, hey, for me with my work schedule coming up, I'm not going to be available on Tuesdays during
yeah,
this time of day anymore.
yeah,
So it just is what it is. Like, and there's also the fact that if like you have really brought this to my attention that if you are providing value, if you are just giving of yourself, there will be some replay value to that. People will eventually want to watch your live streams after the fact, when they have
oh
time.
yeah,
So there's always that too. So I'm not too concerned about it outside of the fact that I love the interaction of having people in
yeah,
the live
yeah.
stream.
Me
I
too.
do. So there's that, but we'll just have to play it by ear and just keep showing up. That's my plan. Just
Yeah.
keep showing up as best I can and sharing whatever I feel led to share and just see what sticks.
Yeah, that's same for
That's
me.
where
So
I'm at.
thank you all for um, supporting us. And for me, what I've done is I've been off and on YouTube for 3.5 years, y'all. And so in the past, when I would start a new job or do something, have another child, I would get off YouTube for months, or I don't know, the longest gap might have been like almost a year. So my goal, just so y'all know, is just to not do that. I don't care if I upload once or twice a month, even if it's not as frequent as I'm trying to do. My goal is just to not give up. So that's what you can expect from me. Put your expectations low. By the way, I love your candle holders life. Oh
Thank
yes,
you.
those are
I made
beautiful.
those.
Oh
I made
my
those.
gosh.
I made these out of candle holders. So if you
Wow.
notice, this is a candle holder, this is
That
a
is so
candle holder
pretty.
on top of it, and then this is one of those bowls with glass glued to it.
That is
So
so pretty.
I made these years ago, and it's crazy because these are the colors that I made, and then randomly I was creating this YouTube channel, and that kind of was the color theme of that I wanted. And then I found those in the garage, and I was like, oh my god, I knew about this before it even before it even happened. So yeah, a little short story about those.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's pretty. That's something I want to get into more, like
Thank
artsy stuff.
you.
I always loved doing artsy stuff
It's so
when I had
fun.
more time. No, I got time now. So yeah, I
Yeah,
love and yeah,
it's so fun. I'm working
it
on
is.
my shop. So I'm going to be opening up. It's just going to be t-shirts only for right now, but it's going to be all positive affirmation t-shirts and things like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
That is awesome. You know what you're reminding me of? My friend. Oh my God, I don't even know what kind of bracelet this is. Oh man, is it amethyst? Is it? Ooh, it's a crystal bracelet. Anyways, my friend, she's on social media. She's on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. I don't think she's on YouTube. Called Shells, Chelles, Spiritual Journey,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm.
she sells these crystal bracelets and different things. And as a reminder, I'm supposed to shout her out because I bought 2 bracelets from her, and I wear them to work at the hospital. And I know it's my mind. My mind is the most powerful thing, but the crystals, the prayer, my essential oils, I just feel so magical when I'm at work. And I'm working like 12-hour shifts on my feet, doing stuff most people don't want to do. Y'all know hospitals, involve, and I'm in critical care, so I'm dealing with patients who can't do a lot for themselves. So I'm doing a lot of dirty work, but I have just
Mm-hmm.
been channeling God's power, y'all. It has felt, and now I need to do that at home. I'm happy at home, but I'm not channeling God, as much as I do at home. Like, sometimes the kids, I've got a range from 15 down to a year old almost. So I want to be more channeled, use my crystals and my little spiritual tools at home as well.
Mm-hmm.
So anyways, thank y'all for watching. I know this was a random video, but I put it in the title. So at least it was kind of random getting all the different topics we had in here. I love you all for watching, for
I had a lot of
connecting.
fun.
Yeah, this is fun. We really want everyone, Life and I are very much similar in the fact that we really care for people. We want y'all to live a happy life. We are trying to build community around this topic of happiness and spirituality. And that's what it is. It's community, it's connection. Irregardless of the demands on our time, we will be engaged whenever we can, when we can,
Yeah.
So all right, I'm going to end it there. I look forward to connecting with, some of you all on other social medias. I'll check you out. And yeah, AffOrmations. Glad you use AffOrmations. Going to watch. Yes. Yes, AffOrmations with an O are different than affirmations with an I. It is when you basically turn an affirmation into a question, like, why am I rich? Why do I find the husband of my dream? Why, whatever, why, how?
Now, yeah,
Yeah. That's a whole nother,
awesome.
just watch the other video, because that's a whole nother conversation. Me and Life will be on here for the next 2 hours, which
Look,
would be okay. But I got, the kids. I told Life that my 7-year-old London is she's not trying to guilt me, but with me going back to work outside of the house, I used to work from home. She's been crying and kind of feeling like, Mommy, why? Like, don't leave. And I'm like, oh my God, kid, like, stop guilting me. But I don't.
yeah.
I have a clear conscience. She has more than enough time with me. I try not to multitask, so I give her attention when she needs it. She's just been a little, I won't say spoiled. She's been lucky to have me working from home for a while. So yeah, I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna spend some time with the kids, and then I need to meditate. Let me do some meditation tonight. Life, I'll go on your channel. Magical meditation
And mindfulness.
Magical meditation and MMM, magical meditation and mindfulness. Okay. Yeah. So some
of
y'all join me.
Thank you so much, Leanne. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. That was so awesome to have.
This is so fun. Like, I feel like we just hanging out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think once we do get a little schedule, it'll help some people who have asked me, like, who want to participate more. It'll help them.
Yeah,
because they'll know. Yeah. So, all right, y'all. Have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your week. Live a happy life. See ya.
Yeah.